What's going on, guys? This is going to be a fun series. I am going to basically do a full walkthrough and full implementation playbook on how you can sell AI voice agents yourself. We're going to go through everything one by one, so you can learn exactly how to find the right leads, how to reach out to them properly, how to demonstrate what you're going to sell to them properly with the AI voice agents, how to run your sales calls, how to fulfill, how to scale. We're going to go over everything one step at a time, okay? So the first thing that I want to say is treat this like it could change your life, because it's going to if you implement everything that I tell you to implement, all right? One thing you have to understand is there's so much information out there. You have to commit to one way of educating yourself, okay? You cannot consume content from me, from someone else, from a bunch of other gurus, if you will. I don't like to call myself that, but however you want to see me, it doesn't matter. You need to commit to one path of learning. I'm not saying that my path of teaching is correct and everyone else is wrong. I'm saying if you try to learn in several different ways from several different people, it will overwhelm you, because I will say something, they will say something that will contradict what I say, and you'll get confused, you'll get overwhelmed, and you'll end up quitting. All right? So what's important is that you understand that there are many different ways you can do something to get a specific outcome. Okay? You can succeed within one thing by doing a million different things in a million different ways. So one way is not the only way of doing something, but you should still pick one way. Because the more you think, like, if I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this, you will get overwhelmed and you will quit. So take this seriously. It's my piece of advice to you. Don't just watch these videos. Don't just mentally masturbate and feel this dopamine rush and this motivation rush because you're watching videos and it feels like you're doing something productive. I'll tell you something right now. Watching videos will not do anything for you. Even if you watch these videos from beginning to end, it will not do anything for you whatsoever. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to improve your life in any way. You need to implement, and you need to commit, and you need to focus. If you only watch this shit, don't waste your time. Don't watch this course. Go to YouTube. Go do whatever you want to do, but don't do this. If your only plan is to watch through this and then maybe implement something, please don't. Don't waste your time. Go do something else, okay? Because this is not for you. But if you're intending on taking this seriously and actually implementing what I'm about to teach you, then it's going to be useful and you're actually going to see results. So commit to this. Do everything that I tell you to do, okay? I've done this before. I've landed clients before in the AI voice agent space. So I know what I'm talking about. Just follow the advice, follow the lessons. If you have a question, pause the video, go to me privately, write your question and get my help, okay? I will provide this for anyone that is working with me that wants my mentorship, all right? To be able to receive one-on-one help though, what you need to do is you need to be subscribed to the platform where you're going to build these voice agents, okay? Right? So why is this the case? Because this platform is my platform. I'm not charging for the coaching. I'm charging for my app. So for me to be able to help you and demo the product, you're going to need to be subscribed. You're not going to be able to demo anything or run any voice agents live for the customer to hear them, or the client to hear them in this case, if you do not have a paid subscription. All right? But the course, I'm probably going to make it available for everyone. But actual one-on-one, you're going to have to be subscribed. So just letting you know that, right? You have to invest in yourself. You're going to have to invest in one of these tools anyway. The only difference between doing it with someone else's tool and my tool is that with my tool, with my app, you're actually going to get one-on-one help for free. With other tools out there, you're going to have to figure it out on your own. So whatever path you want to go, doesn't matter by me. You do what you want to do, okay? That's completely up to you. So this is not a YouTube video, and I'm not saying YouTube is bad. YouTube has amazing value, right? There are a lot of great videos on YouTube that you can learn from, whether it's my YouTube channel, whether it's someone else's YouTube channel when it comes to the AI space or anything in general. YouTube is a gold mine, okay? But YouTube doesn't hold you accountable. You need someone to work with you. That's the whole point of when it comes to consuming a bunch of videos, because videos alone and information alone doesn't cut it. That's why I'm implementing this with coaching. So you can actually get my support, pause if you have any questions, and actually get my help, right? That's where the value comes from. YouTube isn't bad, right? YouTube is very, very good, but it doesn't keep you accountable. It doesn't have someone working with you one-on-one to actually help you achieve your goals, okay? So do not watch and forget. Do not just sit here, feel motivated for an hour, then move on with your life. Implement everything that I'm telling you. Take notes, pause when you need to, complete the action steps, and ask for help when you get stuck. Don't rush through the modules and the entire course. Actually take your time with this. Take it one step at a time. Pause when you need to. There's no shame in pausing. Ask your question directly to me and I'll be able to help you, okay? So take your time with this, right? So the path we're going to follow is the mindset around AI agencies and how to approach them, the offer that we're going to build, then how to actually build everything practically inside my app, how to actually build these voice agents before you demo them and sell them. Then we're going to go ahead and teach you how to do outreach properly, how you're going to run the sales calls, right? How you're going to demo the agent on the sales call, diagnose the problem, actually hold a proper conversation. And then from there on out, you're going to fulfill on the project. We're going to teach you how to do that as well and scale the business. So that's the path we're going. This is the entire roadmap and this is what you can expect. And we're going to go into this next in the next video where we're going to go over the AI agency mindset step by step. So you're going to learn exactly what you need to know before you even do anything, because this is a mistake that so many people are doing. So that's it for this video, and we can continue in the next one right now. All right, so let's go over the actual mindset that you need, the right mental framework before you try to sell anything. Because if you don't have this nailed down, nothing you do from here on out is going to matter. You're not going to make any money. You're not going to make it. And there's no point. All right. Let me just reset this fucking AC. There you go. So information will not change anything. We spoke about this in the previous video. Implementation will. Right. You don't need another folder full of videos. You need to complete the next action in front of you. That's what we're going to focus on in this entire course, step by step, exactly what you need to do. So we keep things simple, practical, and I don't actually give you any fluff. I don't want to feed you with a bunch of fluff, with a bunch of bullshit that's not going to help you, because you're never going to get anywhere with that. All right? So how to use this program? You watch one lesson, okay? You complete the action, you bring back the evidence, you show me what happened, so the coaching can be specific in case you get stuck and you need my help. Then you move forward. You don't need to rush through the videos. You don't just rush through a bunch of videos and then start the process. You do the process, you act while you're going through everything. That's the whole point. Otherwise, you're just going to be overwhelmed at the end of it when you've gone through everything. And now you have to start taking action. You won't even know where to begin. You'll be like, I have a million things to do. Because you didn't do anything while you were watching the videos. You should act while you're watching. So right now, we'll just go over the fundamentals. There is nothing to do right now. But later on, when I start teaching you the more practical stuff after the mindset module, then you need to start acting. What I tell you to do, you need to do. It's very, very important, okay? I'm not only going to be in these slides, I'm actually going to show you practically how to use certain tools and how to navigate certain tools and so on and so forth to get the leads, and how to use everything that I'm going to give you access to, okay? So your first commitment is block time every day for this. Even one focused hour of implementation is worth more than 5 hours of just passive watching. 1 hour of implementation is better than 5 hours of watching. You're not going to gain anything from watching. You're going to gain everything from implementing. So write down your daily implementation block before you continue. Okay? Very important. So the next video, we're going to go over more about what AI automation actually is and the common misconceptions. So you can move on to the next video. All right, so the biggest misconception is thinking that AI automation is a business model. AI automation is a method for helping a real business operate faster, more efficiently, and at a larger scale. It's not a business model, okay? You have to understand that. A lot of people think it is. A lot of people treat AI automation like it's some new business model. It doesn't change the pillars of business, right? The pillars of business do not disappear. It's still the same. Still sales, marketing, fulfillment, operations, customer experience, profit, and all that. AI is a force multiplier. That's what it is. It can make those areas faster or more effective, but it does not replace the need to understand them. So think about it like this. If you treat AI automation as a business model, you're going to think that you can do all of these things at an expert level. You're going to think that you can go in depth on everything and you can just offer all kinds of solutions to businesses and you're going to do fine. In a technical sense, you can automate anything. If you know how to do automation, you can automate anything out there. That's not the hard part. The technical part is easy. But getting people and businesses to understand what you do and how you can solve their problems, showing that you understand their problem at a deep level, okay? Being able to communicate that, being able to demo that, being able to show your social proof and your expertise, that's going to be the hard part. Having an in-depth understanding of a problem, that's the hard part. And imagine doing that for everything. If you think about, say, like most businesses out there, if they offer a marketing service, most of the time they're specialized in one or two areas. A lot of the time, one. One marketing agency may offer ad services. Another one may do cold email. Another one may do SEO. Okay? Everyone is focused on a specific problem they're solving because they've mastered that problem. They have an in-depth understanding of that problem. AI automation is not a new business model. It's not even a business model. It's a force multiplier. And business remains the same. You have to understand that. This is why the custom AI agency path is complete garbage. So do not ask, what can I automate? Ask, what is this business losing because this problem is still happening? That's where the money is, okay? If you can understand what a business is losing due to the problem they have, and I'm going to give practical examples later, but if you can understand that and you can position that in your outreach and in your sales calls, they're going to be much more prone to listen to you and want to have a conversation and eventually want to buy from you. So we're going to teach you proper positioning, but also how you can show them what they're losing with real numbers. Not just tell them, oh, you're losing this and that because you're not automating this and that part of your business, but you're actually going to show them the money they're losing by asking the right questions. And when they see that, that's all you need. That's all you need. Now you're going to know, and now they're going to know that they need your help, and you're already going to know that they need your help. So that's it. And we're going to go over that, right? So why the custom AI agency fails beginners? Your message is vague. No one understands what you do. You just come to people and you outreach people and you're like, I can help you automate your manual tasks. They're like, well, I don't even know where to begin. I have 1 million manual tasks. What are you going to do? Automate my entire business? I mean, sure, that's something that you could do, but that's a huge project to make an entire business AI first. You're going to get there eventually. It's possible. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying when that is your positioning, your message becomes vague and you're not worth listening to. Your sales call is weak, okay? They're going to notice that when you talk to them. They're not really going to understand what you do. They're going to get the feeling that you don't really know what you're talking about because you cannot diagnose every business problem deeply. They're going to sense that. They're going to sense that you don't have a real understanding of their specific problem because you try to solve all problems. Your delivery changes. Every client becomes a brand new technical project, if you even get to this point, that is. Because these parts are going to be shit, you're probably not even going to get here. And if you do, this part is going to be super messy. Every single project that you deliver is going to feel like a nightmare. You're going to have no structure. Everything is going to start from scratch, from square one, and you're not going to know what you're doing, how to navigate it. And again, you're lucky if you even get here. And you build no authority. You'll be known as the guy who just automates anything and everything. In fact, you won't be known at all. No one will care about you. Think about it. The people that you know online, you know them because they're niched down on something. They're either a fitness coach or they're, an expert on ads or on video editing or on content creation. You know them for one specific thing. You don't know the people that are vague. No one knows them because what do they even do? They don't stand out. This term, the riches come from the niches, it's very, very true. Very true, okay? But people don't seem to understand that. That's why they do the custom AI agency model. And that's what you're not gonna do. But if you like staying broke, if you don't like money at all, if you hate money, then do the custom AI agency from the very beginning with the level that you're at right now, right? You can do that. You're gonna stay broke. But if you wanna make money, just listen to what I have to say, okay? Be known for solving one category problem. For this program, the category is going to be phone-based revenue problems solved with AI voice agents, okay? But you can honestly apply this to everything, but we're just going to go in depth on AI voice agents because you're going to work in one very specific platform that I'm going to teach you from end to end, and that's my platform, okay? So the first thing you do is you narrow first and you expand later. What I mean by that is you start off with one problem. You become an expert at solving one problem. So that shows in your outreach and it shows in your sales calls, and you have a better fulfillment process. The fulfillment is smoother because you know what you're doing. You've done it in the past, or you're so well versed within that problem that even if it's your first client, you know how you're going to solve it. And then after that, that's when you upsell. That's when you upsell more builds to a specific client, okay? The LTV for each client can be multiple 5 figures, even 6 figures plus and more, okay? You're not just gonna sell them voice agents. That's just the beginning. You start with a voice agent. You start by getting your foot in the door. That's what you do. You start by building trust. When you've sold them one thing in the past, it's gonna be easier to sell them more in the future. So that's what you do. You get your foot in the door. If they've already bought from you in the past, they're going to buy from you again. And LTV is basically lifetime value. All right? How much money you can get out of each client before they churn. So if their lifetime value spans over, say, 1 to 2 years, and you sell them a bunch of projects over that duration, imagine the money you can make per client. Don't see a client as like just a number. Like, oh, I only have one client. You can have one client, one amazing enterprise whale client, and make way more than another agency that has 5 shitty clients that are basically broke and can't pay them any money. So the number of clients don't really matter. That's not what we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to get our foot in the door with big clients, whale clients, okay? Build the trust in the beginning by selling, voice agents that I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to teach you the entire process, of course. Then you can upsell. All right. However, you can honestly scale your business with only voice agents. You can upsell more if you want to in the future, but that can overwhelm you too if you're doing too many things. So if you're going to upsell for other builds, I would recommend that you hire people to do that for you so you don't have to figure out those processes too and know how to fulfill on those projects from scratch. So you remain an expert at what you do best, and then you hire people for the rest, okay? So in the next video, we're gonna go over the main problems within, the whole phone problem situation for a lot of businesses, and the problems they actually have and how you can come in and solve them. So make sure you process this video first, write down any notes or any thoughts that you have. If you have any questions, something that you didn't understand, reach out to me personally and we'll take it from there, and then you can continue once you're done. All right, so When it comes to voice agents, we have four major problems and one category of solution. The solution is automated calls with AI voice agents. The problems are slow lead response. New leads wait too long before anyone calls them. Okay? This is a huge problem. The solution is speed to lead. You probably heard that term before. This is very important because when someone goes to a website and they fill out a form, they usually get a response within 24 hours. Like, if you ask me, I'm not going to wait 24 hours. I'm going to go to a competitor that can help me immediately. I don't want to wait 24 hours. I'm not doing that, okay? And the audacity for businesses to think that they're so special that someone is going to wait 24 hours for their response is insane. No one cares about them that much, all right? So this is a huge problem. This may actually be the biggest problem that you can solve because these are warm leads. You don't want to miss a warm lead. Every missed warm lead is potentially thousands of dollars, maybe even at least 5 figures, depending on the job. Okay? Probably going to be a couple $1,000s or whatever it may be. Okay? Whatever industry it is. If it's construction, if it's real estate, that's a lot of fucking money. So this is why construction and real estate are huge for this. Amazing niches. Because the deal sizes are so big. They're so valuable. So if they lose just one lead because they reached out too slowly, holy shit, that's a lot of money. Okay? So if you speak to like a real estate business and you show them the numbers based on the average deal size and the amount of missed calls they have or missed leads, they're going to see the number in front of them and they're going to be like, wow, that's crazy. This is where AI voice callers come in, and that's the first problem they solve. The second problem is weak follow-ups. Most businesses do not have a proper follow-up system. Even if they have sales reps, they don't follow up properly. They miss follow-ups. They don't follow up on time. They're very inconsistent. Some days they're following up. The other days they're doing other things. They're caught up with admin tasks or something else. If you have an automated follow-up system that calls leads every couple days or every day or whatever status you have for that lead, that's going to yield in much more return over the long term, right? Because there is money in the follow-ups. There absolutely is. The more you follow up with someone, as long as they keep responding to you, that's a potential lead. Why give up on that lead? Keep calling them, keep contacting them. If they haven't blocked you or explicitly told you that they don't want to be called and they don't want you to bother them, keep following up. There's a lot of money in that. And this is a huge one. Missed inbound calls. A lot of these local businesses, they're taking a bunch of calls, but they only have 1 or 2 receptionists. What if 5 people are calling in at the same time? Those people are going to be queued, and people are impatient. They're not going to want to wait. They're going to go to a competitor. If you have an AI voice agent that takes inbound calls, it can handle hundreds of calls at the same time. All right? So no one's ever going to be queued, and also it runs after hours. After hours or when the team is busy. Okay, so no one's ever going to have to wait. People can call in 24/7. They're never going to miss a single call. It's the same thing as this one. It's a missed lead via call, and this is a missed lead via form. But these are the main problems you solve with AI voice agents, okay? Slow lead response via forms and missed inbound calls. Huge problems. Huge problems. So if you're going to specialize in one problem or 2 problems that you want to solve in this specific context, I would pick one of these 2. One of these 2, or probably even both. It's still the same category of solution. It's not going to be hard to expand to solving 2 or 3 or maybe even all problems, okay? And then the fourth one, I would say this one is decent, but if I'm going to be honest, human cold callers are still better than human cold callers. Sorry, human cold callers are still better than AI cold callers. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired, so I'm slurring with my words. But the way AI cold callers shine is they can run a lot of volume. They can run hundreds, thousands of calls per day easily, no problem. So you can leverage that too. If they want to expand their volume, if they have vast lead lists, with a bunch of phone numbers, they have thousands of leads and they want to make sure to go through all of them quickly, and they don't want to rely on human reps because it's going to take days or possibly even weeks to go through them, they can just rely on an AI outbound caller that gets the list uploaded. It has a campaign, it has a script, it has the prompt and everything, and it just calls them. It calls them. Hundreds, per day, thousands per day, depending on the volume that is set and configured. So these are the main problems, okay? Huge problems you can solve, but these two are the main ones, in my opinion. Okay? And you're still selling voice agents. You're not locking yourself into only speed to lead or only inbound. You can choose to solve only one of these problems, but you don't have to lock yourself into that, because once you understand the solution, you can solve all these 4 problems. Okay? It's minor differences. It's just prompting, how you configure the prompt, and obviously we're going to go over that too, but it's minor differences. Okay? You diagnose which phone problem is most painful for that business and you focus on that. If they need other problems solved within voice agents, of course you can solve that too. But the way you choose the problem to solve is depending on what problem the business has. Okay? Most of the time you're going to be reaching out to established businesses that are already making money, and then that problem is probably going to be missed calls, speed to lead, and follow-ups. Cold calling can still be relevant, but the main problems are going to be, inbound, speed to lead, and follow-ups. The only businesses that are going to want to get those cold callers primarily are the businesses that are barely making any money. They don't even have volume of inbound lead flow. And honestly, you don't even want to work with those businesses anyways. Okay? That's why the cold caller is like a bonus agent, I would say. And the other 3 are the main agents that you can build and use. But you don't even want to work with businesses that, of course, if they're willing to pay you, sure, but they're probably not going to have money to hire you for 3 to 5K. So you're better off working with businesses that already have money. Okay? So the diagnosis in 3 questions. Where do calls matter? Is it inbound? Is it outbound? New leads? Follow-up? Where do their calls matter? Okay? Where are they mainly using the calls? Taking the calls? Is it when they reach out to new leads? Is it like their follow-up process? Are they heavy on cold calling? Like, where do the calls matter? And what is being missed? Is it the inbound calls? Is it the response time? Is it that they need more appointments via outbound? Is it the follow-up that is awful? Like, what is being missed? It can be more than just one. So don't limit yourself into like thinking it can be only 1 or 2. It can be all of these, right? And what does that cost? You're going to get a free ROI calculator where you can actually calculate the costs. So you're basically going to ask them, like, how many calls are you missing? Or how many leads are are slipping through the cracks every single month? And then you can ask them, what is the average deal size? You multiply those numbers together and you're going to be able to give them a concrete number of how much money they're losing on a monthly basis. A real number. That's going to be interesting for them, okay? So this is how you diagnose the right way in your outreach and also in your sales calls, okay? What you should be able to do by the end, build. So you should be able to create and test a working voice agent. Prospect, build a targeted list and start real conversations. Sell, run the discovery, demonstrate the solution, and close. Fulfill, launch the promise system within a clear 30-day plan. I'm also going to help you with proposal templates, what you actually sell to people, during the call. And if it happens to be a 2-call close, what you send them after the call and before the second call. Like how you actually structure an agreement, right? So I'm going to help you with that as well. And then you repeat. You use the same process to move toward 10, 20, 30K per month. The thing about this, it's a very repeatable process. It's very simple. Once you've done it once, you're going to realize how easy it is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing for every single client. And it gets even easier if you focus on one niche. Say if you only do this towards real estate agents or healthcare clinics or construction companies, it gets even easier. The prompting basically remains the same. It's just going to be offer specific. You're going to have to wire their API keys together and all that. But all in all, it's very, very repeatable. Okay? And do not measure progress by lessons watched. That's not what this is about. Don't mentally masturbate. We've all been there where we think we're being productive by watching a bunch of videos. You're not. Measure it by assets built, conversations started, calls booked, proposals sent, clients closed, and systems launched. You can create a weekly scorecard with these 6 numbers where you track all the numbers if that helps you out. But that's the real progress, not anything else. Okay? Now, in the next video, we're going to go over to building your agency offer, turn a phone problem into a clear, valuable, and sellable offer. But now, process this video, go through everything properly. If you have any notes, obviously make sure to store them somewhere. Or if you have any questions, reach out to me. And once you're ready to move on, watch the next video. All right, so now let's get into building your agency offer. Turn a phone problem into a clear, valuable, and sellable offer. Okay? So you're not selling AI automation, you're selling a painful problem solved, revenue recovered, and work removed from the team. That's what you're doing. No one cares about AI automation. No one's going to buy your shitty AI automations. They want the problems that you're actually solving. That's what they want. Okay? So feature language versus business language. This is how everyone speaks, the weak language. We build AI agents. That tells them the tool, but it does not tell them why they should care. They don't care. Maybe you care because it sounds cool. We build AI agents. Cool. Very cool. But it doesn't matter. It's just a feature. Now, if you say this, we recover missed calls. And you can demonstrate the value lost, the ROI from installing and implementing something like this. We recover missed calls that connects the agent to appointments, revenue, and a problem they already feel. So now the agent becomes relevant to problems they have, right? Lack of appointments, lack of revenue, and a problem they know actually exists. So that's how you speak. Positioning is everything. One person A can sell the exact same thing as person B, but person B will make far more money because he's using strong language, business language, whereas person A is using weak feature language. He's talking about all the features and all the things that he can do, all the tech jargon that no one cares about. That's the difference. You can sell the exact same thing as another person, but that person can make more money than you because they're speaking in a different way. Positioning is everything. How you position and wrap your product or service makes all the difference in the world. Positioning is everything, okay? So the offer in one sentence, as an example, we build and manage an AI voice agent that handles phone problem, maybe handles cold calling at scale, or an inbound receptionist that never misses a single call, and so on and so forth. So you can recover business outcome, never missing a lead or recovering multiple 5 figures in revenue, whatever, without adding more headcount, whatever the business outcome is that is specific to the prospect you're speaking to, because every single conversation is going to look different. But you can make this a little bit more general if it's going to be in your bio. You can take help from AI if you want something very general that works for anyone that fits within these niches and that have these problems. But if you're reaching out to people, you might want to specify and customize the phone problem and the business outcome based on the person you're speaking to, okay? So we've already gone over this. Offer 1 and 2 is speed to lead and follow up. So that is protecting warm demand, calls new leads quickly, and follows up with existing clients or existing prospects in the pipeline, okay? Offer 3 and 4 handles more calls. So inbound agent takes calls 24/7 and outbound agent calls not 24/7 because you can't cold call people 24/7, but you can run more volume, okay? So yeah, that's kind of how you can structure it. But at the same time, you're still like, it's still the same solution. It's still voice agents. It's still AI, like automated voice calling. So if you want to run all of them, you can do that. If you want to limit to one or two, you can do that too. But I would much more focus on what the prospect is actually experiencing, what problems they have. You know, it can be a very established business that doesn't suffer from speed to lead. Maybe they have sales reps that reach out immediately and their follow-up is on point, but their volume is shit. They need more volume. Then you can focus on that. So don't limit yourself. You can sell all four. It's not a problem, okay? And you'll have access to everything in the same platform anyway, so it's going to be easy to go from one specific agent to the other. So don't limit yourself, right? Choose the first offer with evidence, okay? The business already experiences the problem. The problems happens often enough to matter, okay? The offer can explain what happens when the owner can explain what happens when the problem occurs. The outcome can be measured after launch, you know? So that's how you should look at this. That's how you know there's real demand for voice agents, because manual calling is a huge, huge problem for businesses, especially these types of businesses, that are, again, HVAC, real estate, healthcare clinics, local businesses that actually need something like this, okay? As I said, home services like HVAC, plumbing, roofing, electrical, restoration, property, real estate, property management, mortgage, appointments, dental, med spa, veterinary, auto service, high value intake like legal, insurance, specialty contractors. All of these are amazing, amazing niches. Now, I would recommend that you choose one. Don't try to go all out on everything. You know, it's going to make your targeted list a little bit more messy as well. And don't think that there aren't enough potential clients in just picking one. The riches are truly in the niches, okay? There are millions of people to reach out to. Millions on millions on millions within each and every single niche. So don't feel like you're limiting yourself. This is another common trap within a lot of new entrepreneurs. They think that if they just help everyone, they have many more people to sell to. But the problem is, it's going to overwhelm you. It's going to burn you out. You're not going to know what you're doing. So pick one niche. It's going to do you far better than just like going all out and balls to the wall, okay? So these are great markets to test and great niches. The 5 signs of a strong market: a large percentage of leads arrive or convert by phone. There is enough lead volume for follow-up to matter. The business can afford a 3 to 5K installation when the value is proven. The number 3 to 5K is not expensive. There's no such thing as an expensive number, okay? If you just point blank look at 20K as like a deal size, right? If you look at the number 20K, for most people that's going to be a lot of money. They're going to think that's expensive. If you tell someone, if you ask someone, are you going to, would you go out to dinner for 20K? They would say no, that's way too expensive for dinner. But if it's to buy a Ferrari, all of a sudden it isn't expensive, okay? So if the value is there, if you can show them that the value is there and you can prove the value with real numbers, this is how much you're losing, then it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, especially with these kinds of businesses that are already established, they're already whales, they're already making a lot of money, they have an established business. 3 to 5K is nothing. They're easily going to be able to pay you that. If they're missing or delaying a call, that can lose a valuable job as a sign of a strong market, and appointments or estimates can be booked through a clear process. So these are great 5 signs of a strong market, right? Pick one market for your first 100 conversations. Don't try to do everything. You can change later. For now, repetition will make your outreach, sales questions, demo, and fulfillment much stronger. If you try to do everything, if you try to reach everyone, if you try to help everyone, that will show where it matters before converting. Before converting is the outreach and the sales call. You need to look like the big boss during these stages, okay? You can always pivot later, but in the beginning, you need to look like the big authority. You need to have the authority. You need to look like an expert. So choose one market, write down the phone problem you expect to find, but That's your job to diagnose. You don't need to limit yourself to a phone problem. Diagnose the problem, and then you can pitch the right solution. Customize depending on what they actually need. Okay? So that's it for that video. After that, we're gonna go into like beginner pricing model and everything that comes with it. Pricing, scopes, deliverables, and all that. So yeah, make sure you've taken notes for this video. And again, any questions, pause right now, get back to me, and then continue with the next video. So a good framework when it comes to beginner pricing model, this is where I recommend that you stay. Going below this makes you look like just an ordinary freelancer that they can find from Fiverr. You're not going to come off as an authoritative business or a contractor or however you want to label yourself if you charge below 3K or below $500 in monthly management. So 3 to 5K upfront installation fee. Don't go over 5K. You could, but don't push it. 5K is great if you land that for installation fee, okay? And this needs to be paid before you do anything. Before you do anything. I'm going to explain why, okay? And then in the next 30 days, exactly 30 days after they've paid this, they're going to pay you a monthly management. If you want to place that at $500, $750, $1K. 1K is really pushing it, so be very careful. I would recommend $500 to $750, okay? It begins after the first 30 days. Remember that. Charge upfront so the client is committed, okay? When a client pays, they take the project, the requests, and the deadlines more seriously. Free projects are usually treated like free projects, okay? So I used to have a client that I took on for free, and we agreed to like a rev share model. And they gave me access to their Amazon account because we were working inside Amazon, and Amazon flagged 2 different devices using the same account. So they temporarily restricted their account. So that meant we couldn't do any work until it was up and running. A paid client would have resolved that issue and then we would have gotten back on track. But because they were free, they decided to terminate the contract. So I had wasted 2-3 weeks from sales calls, from getting the agreement in order and everything to start working with them. But as soon as we had one little obstacle, they just decided to quit because they were free. They had no investment into it. They were not committed in any way. The financial investment is a commitment. That's why you want to charge money, okay? It's not the worst idea in the world to charge after you've delivered the project, but they're likely going to be less committed to actually give you what you need and be committed and be attentive and take this seriously. If they haven't, if they haven't paid you anything up front, they're more than likely just not going to take it seriously, is what I'm trying to say. So always charge up front. Always. No matter what they say, explain that to them. If that comes up as an objection, say that. Say, people who pay up front are more committed. I need your commitment. I need you to respond to me in a timely manner. I need you to, cooperate with me. Give me what I need so I can build this project out for you and actually make you succeed. Free clients they're not going to be pleasant to work with. It's never worth it, okay? Have some self-respect and charge money for your services, all right? Don't be a pushover, all right? No one likes a pushover, and no one's going to respect a pushover. Put this in the scope before they pay. The exact agent and use case being installed, the integrations and tools included, the monthly management work after launch, what the agent will and will not do. If you're vague with this part, they will start asking you for more things than what you agreed upon. So if you're not specific with the deliverables, what they're actually going to get, they're going to start asking you for more and more and more and more and more things, right? And you're going to work more, and it's going to feel like free work, which it's basically going to be, because you're going to do more than what was agreed upon. But because you don't have it in writing, it wasn't really agreed upon. So they can just ask for more shit. So don't do that. Be specific with your deliverables. and the 30-day timeline and client response deadlines, okay? Very, very, very important, right? So guarantee the build, not the revenue, okay? It's very difficult to guarantee revenue because every business is going to be different. And you can't guarantee, like if they shut off their ads and they scale down their ads and they have less income, they have less inbound forms, inbound calls and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to guarantee any revenue. It's very difficult, but you can guarantee the build. So I usually do full functionality in 30 days. The system performs the intended job promised in the signed scope within 30 days. This is going to be good enough for them to want to sign an agreement because this gives them a little bit of comfort. Like, okay, this is going to work as intended in 30 days, but you're not promising any results, okay? That's on them, right? You can't promise real results because there's so many things that are out of your control. If they scale down their ads, if they, start focusing on other things, other areas of their business that, will make sure that one area takes a hit, there's not much you can do, okay? So do not guarantee a specific revenue result. It depends on lead quality, offer, volume, staff, market, and other factors that you do not control, right? You come with a functionality with build that solves the problem. It's up to them to deliver the rest so this actually becomes a viable solution. Very important, okay? And client cooperation is part of the guarantee. They will not get a guarantee just out of the goodness of your heart, okay? That's not how the world works, okay? So for them to get a guarantee, they have to give you something in return. There needs to be stipulations. A stipulation is something that they have to do to have a right to the guarantee, and this needs to be specified in the contract as well. So the client needs to reply to information and access requests within 48 to 72 hours. You can even make this tighter to like 24 to 48, okay? Information like company details, company documentation, SOPs, API keys, login information. This is so important because if they take 1 week to give you this, how are you going to deliver on time? How are you going to deliver within 30 days? They just took a week to give you a simple thing. There's no way you're going to be able to deliver, okay? So they need to follow the stipulations. If they haven't followed the stipulations and 30 days have passed, you have every right to not deliver the rest of the project unless they continue paying you that monthly fee. If they say, we don't want to pay you the monthly fee and they haven't fulfilled their end of the deal with the stipulations, you have every right on day 30 to walk away from the project. And there is nothing they can do. You can literally walk away when it's 50% done and be like, you know what? You haven't fulfilled your stipulations and I have proof that you haven't done that. And you haven't paid me the monthly fee. So I'm not going to fulfill the rest of the project. And you move on. All right? So the client completes required account authorization and testing. The client supplies accurate company information and approved call handling rules. Any delay caused by missing client input moves the timeline accordingly. Okay? But it's not going to move the monthly payment. That's still going to happen 30 days later from the first initial payment. If they don't pay you and they failed the stipulations, you don't deliver the project. Okay? So that's very important. So again, make sure you have your notes set. Ask me any questions. If you have any questions to the community as well, please talk to each other. Don't be strangers. Work with each other if you want to do that. Help each other. If you want to build an agency together, you can do that. So, use the community. You have access to people. You have access to people that are on the same boat as you. So use that to your advantage. And when you're ready, move on to the next video. All right, I already recorded this video, but for some reason, my screen recorder OBS just froze at 1 frame and ruined the entire video. Not sure why. But let's get into building AI voice agents. Okay, so what you need, you're going to need a paid Mercenai account. Okay, so the link is going to be below this video. And you should go for the $99 account. That's a good starting point. Once you start landing clients, you can scale the account, but you don't need to do that in the beginning. So that's what you have to do. You need a Twilio account. That's going to be upgraded. I'm going to show you how to get this set up as well. Because you can't place calls without an upgraded account, right? You need a Google Calendar that is connected. This is free. I'm going to show you what to do and how to do that. And a basic agent that you have called and tested yourself. I'm going to show you how to set that up, okay? So you got to build the foundation once. You don't need a giant campaign or a prospect list inside Mercenai yet. You just need one working test environment that you understand. So you don't need to create a campaign. You don't need to import a list or anything like that. You're just going to be testing. Okay, so you're going to want to open Mercenai and complete the account setup before the next lesson, right? So I'll show you everything in one go. The first thing you're going to do, go to the site, click on See Plans, and sign up to this account, $99 per month. And once you're done with that, you're going to be met with the dashboard. I just want to make sure the recorder is still working. Seems to be. Cool. You're going to be met with this. And the first thing you need to do is set all the connections up. Okay. So we're going to start with Google Calendar here. I'm going to go ahead and delete these old keys. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to search for Google Calendar. See if it pops up. Click on the API. Then after that, what you want to do is you want to make sure you wait for it to load because I have shit internet. You're going to be met with this page. It's going to says enable for you, but since I've already enabled it, I'm just going to go ahead and manage it, but it's the same button. Then after that, you want to go ahead and again, let it load. Click on credentials. I have a shit Filipino internet, by the way, so the Wi-Fi is crap. Click on credentials again if it wants to load. Yeah. And then you're going to be met with this page. Click on create credentials, Alt Client ID, web application for application type, just name it something, test demo. And for the redirect URI, click plus, go back to the dashboard, copy this URL here, paste it in, create, and then you go ahead and copy the client ID, put it in there, client secret, put it in there. Then you want to authenticate with Google. Click on that button, it's going to load. And I'm going to delete these keys, by the way, so don't even bother using them. They're not going to work. Just want to make that clear. Let's see. All right, so seem to be running into an issue, but when you go through these steps, you should have the option to authenticate, okay? So there seems to be some issues with my tokens, which is fine. It happens, okay? So go through this process yourself. Once you're done with that, okay, you're going to authenticate with Google. It's going to verify you, and then you're done. You're going to have your Google Calendar connected, okay? So then after that, you're going to need your Twilio account. First of all, you're going to need to upgrade the account. You're going to have an option to do it here as a free account. I've already upgraded, so I can't see that. But there's going to be an option to upgrade here. Go ahead and do that. Go through the process. It's going to be like $20 or something you have to do to be able to make phone calls. Then after that, go to phone numbers, manage, buy a number. And after that is done, like after you get to this page, you're going to be able to purchase a phone number here. Just purchase any of them. It doesn't really matter. Make sure it's a US number. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, you can switch numbers here by country, but just go for a US number. It's just for demo purposes. Remember that this account is just for demo purposes. Once you actually set it up for clients, you're not going to use your own Twilio. You're going to use their platform. Okay, they're going to sign up to Twilio and all that, and you're going to do it from their end. Or if you want to keep it simple, you can use your account, and you're going to be providing the numbers and everything. It costs like $1 per month to actually rent a number. So if you want to make it easier on your client so they don't have to set up Twilio, that's an option. But for now, for the demo, just buy any number. It doesn't really matter. Okay. After you're done with that, scroll to the very bottom. I'm not going to show you because I have some keys there. Fuck, I actually did accidentally show you. But you can't see the full key, so it doesn't matter. So go ahead and copy the SID auth token and go ahead and paste it here. SID auth token. And if you buy, so the way the numbers work is this, okay? If you have a country number that is closest to the US, you're going to be wired to the US region. Then you're not going to have to configure the advanced regional routing. Say if you have a French number or an Italian number or a Moroccan number, you're going to be wired to Ireland, Dublin. If you have a Chinese number or like an Eastern Russian number, I don't know if it matters if it's Eastern Russian or whatever, but let's say you have a Mongolian number, then it's going to be wired to Sydney. So the reason it automatically wires to a geographical location is to optimize for latency. So this is already optimized in the back end. But if you have a client that wants to use, if you have like an Australian client and they use an Australian number, you need to configure these keys. Or if it's Thai number, anything that's closest to Australia, you're going to need these keys. And the platform, once it detects the number, it's going to tell you which keys you need, so you're not going to have to guess yourself. And the way you do it, you just click on this here, you follow the guide, very simple. We also have a setup guide here to go through that. If you need help setting this up, let me know. I can set that up for you. But yeah, most of the time you're probably going to target US leads, so you're not going to have to set this up. But if it's Sydney or Dublin, you're going to have to set that up. Just want to make that clear. I know that's confusing, but don't think too much about it. But once you have the SID and the token, just paste that in, and then it's going to find the number for you. You're going to be able to use that number, okay? Once this is done, you don't need to worry about knowledge. For knowledge, you can just add basic information about the business that you're going to do a demo for. So before you get on a sales call, you're going to build a custom agent for each sales call, all right? It doesn't take long. You just scrape their website, and you can use like very simple tools to be scraping anyone's website. You can use Firecrawl. You can even use Hermes. You can use Codex. You can use Cloud Code, or just fill in basic information here if it's confusing. If you need extra help on this, let me know. But just fill in some basic information about their offer, FAQs, policy, stuff like that. Basic stuff. Okay. You can even ask the prospect to send over some information before the sales call so you can properly demo the agent. So that's what you can do with the knowledge base, but you don't need to think too much about it. After that, go to agents. Choose the agent job that you're actually going to pitch, depending on what you actually talked about in the DMs. If their problem was speed to lead or follow-up, inbound, cold calling, you're going to create the agent accordingly. Then choose any trained agent niche here. It doesn't really matter. Custom is the most basic one because it's not trained on a specific niche. But if you're going for a specific niche that you're going to have a sales call for, if it's a med spa agency clinic, go ahead and click on that one. Agent name, just name the agent something. The company name, it's going to be their company that you're going to be pitching. The agent booking time zone. So what time zone is the agent going to be booking in? Is that going to be their time zone? What time zone are they in, and so on? What agent voice do you want? You can preview the voices here, see which one you like. What booking start hour and end hour are you going to configure? Like when is the agent able to book in from? Is it 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.? Is it other times, evening, whatever? Set the range. Booking buffer. What's the buffer it cannot book within from now until the whatever buffer you have? So from now up until 12 hours, the agent won't be able to book. This is the default. You can configure this. If you don't want any buffer, you can do that. Maximum days in advance that it can book. Go ahead and set that. Booking duration, booking days. Select the phone number once you have that configured. Configure the agent instructions. Just follow this formula: role, objective, primary tasks, tone, qualification, good example, bad example, like what the agent should do and what it shouldn't do, right? Just fill that in specifically to the prospect. And yeah, make sure the prompt is lean. You're not going to be able to exceed 800 characters just to keep the prompt lean and make sure it doesn't add any latency. That's why we have these limits, okay? Conversation flow. It's already configured pretty well, but if you want to change it a little bit, you can go ahead and do that. It's not that big of a deal. Stop rules, what it cannot do, like clear guardrails, you can add that, what you don't want it to do on a live call, and then what the voicemail should say when it detects that. Then choose the language for the prospect, choose the knowledge base that you built, add some FAQs if you want that, and then it's going to pop up here. Then to test it, you go to test agent. Before your sales call, you actually run some tests to make sure it works. Just fill in a number here. It's not going to call the actual number. Fill in a name that you want for the demo, like just to test it out yourself, and the email that you want to test out, and then talk to agent. But in the actual sales call, you're going to come to call a test number. You're going to fill in their number and their country code, their name, and their email. They're going to talk to it on their phone while you have them on the call, and they're going to hear what it sounds like. So you're going to be able to pitch it and demo in that way while showing the numbers. And I'm going to show you the free ROI calculator in a later lesson, how you can download that, how you can use that and all that. So this is how you do it. This is the process. This is how you get everything set up from the setting side of things, building the knowledge base, building the agent, and actually, testing it yourself before the call, and then actually calling the number while you're on the sales call. And you can even test this yourself if you want to call your phone number. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that was helpful. And for the rest, yeah, we've already gone over this. Create the account on Twilio, upgrade the account by phone number connected to Mercenai. I already showed you that. And for your demo, it's going to be your Twilio account. And then for the client, it's going to be their Twilio account. But if you want to use yours, there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to go through the hassle of setting everything up, if you just want to use one account, not a problem. I think, honestly, this may be the better idea, so it's less work for you. But you're still going to have to set up their Google Calendar, okay? That's something you can't go around. But since you'll be renting phone numbers anyways, like you can just do it from your account if you want to. But if you do that, make sure you charge for it because you're going to be paying for Twilio. This is why I think it's best. I'm contradicting myself a little bit right now, so I'm sorry. But now on a final thought, I think it might be better to just have their account set up because it's going to cost you money, right? So you're going to have to charge them extra and, yeah. It's another thing to keep track on. So it's easier upfront to just use your account, but in the long run, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. So that's that. And do not trade security for convenience. Use API keys that you can revoke anytime you want. If they get leaked or something, you can restrict your API keys to not give them full access and full scopes. Never paste keys into DMs, proposals, slide decks, or anything like that. Because this is very, very sensitive information. Anyone that has your API keys or their API keys can drain their credits, okay? And run up their accounts and wake up to a hefty bill if you have auto recharge on. So don't fucking do that. Revoke access when the relationship ends or a key is exposed, okay? Then after this lesson, we're going to go into the next steps. I'm going to show you exactly how to continue from here on out. But make sure you complete everything that I just walked you through with Twilio, with Google Cloud, with all the credentials, creating the agent, testing it, and all that to make sure you're prepared for your sales call. And then I'll see you on the next one. All right, so let's continue. So a booking test is only complete when the agent reads the correct availability, the right contact details are captured, the confirmation matches what the business promised, the event lands on the correct calendar and time zone, and reschedule and cancellation both work. This is already configured, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to prompt the agent to do these things. Everything is already in the backend, so don't worry about that. So build the first version first in this order. Define the job, one sentence describing exactly what the agent must accomplish. This is where you saw the role in the agent instructions in the prompt. Define the caller, who they are, what they probably need, and what the agent may ask. Define the conversation, right? Opening, qualification, questions, actions, and close in the conversational flow box. And define the boundaries. What the agent must never guess, promise, or do in the stop rules, okay? That's how you configure the prompting. Again, if you need help, do not hesitate to reach out to me. You're not supposed to have everything figured out from these courses alone, okay? If you get stuck, you reach out to me. Nothing's gonna be 100% clear. Like not everything is gonna be 100% clear in this video or any video. So if you get stuck in anything, please get back to me. I wanna help you. I wanna make sure you win. but I can't do that if you don't let me know what's going on. Okay? So make it sound like the business, not like a robot. So no long scripted speeches, huge answers, corporate language, and too much information at once. And this is important because, you need to make sure the agent is fast paced. It needs to have short responses and it needs to sound conversational. So make sure you configure this in the prompt, in the response guidelines and the tonality and all that, so it understands what kind of outputs it should get. This is mainly already wired in the back end from our end. So we already have configured the agent to have a set number of tokens that it can respond in. So make sure that your prompt aligns with that. But that's already in the default prompt, so don't remove that. And yeah, aim for short natural turns like you would in a conversation, okay? Build a basic agent before you build a perfect one. So the first version exists so you can call it, find the problems and improve it. You can't optimize a conversation you've never had, right? So you got to do some testing. You do got to do some testing. It's part of the process before you actually have the sales call, so you're prepared. So the agent doesn't hallucinate, it doesn't say stupid shit, right? But it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to work in a basic manner, right? Because you're going to perfect it later on when you start working with a client. Don't spend too much time fine-tuning an agent. You're going to have plenty of time to do that when you've gotten paid for it. You don't need to do something, and perfect something when you're not getting paid for it, right? Build the basic version, build the perfect one later on, okay? That's it. So we'll continue with this because we didn't have a lot of lessons in the previous slides. So what belongs in the knowledge base? Approved company description and service areas, hours, locations, policies and booking requirements, only information the business has reviewed and approved, services, exclusions, and common customer questions, escalation rules and situations that require a human. Okay, so this is what you should be adding in the knowledge base and in the FAQ. It's very important. So make sure everything is configured and correctly configured to what the business has authorized you to use. Okay, company facts are not instructions, right? So services, prices when approved, hours, locations, policies, and answers. That is true. That is the knowledge. And what to do for prompting is how to speak, what to ask, when to use a tool, and when to escalate, right? So the knowledge is very specific information, but it's not instructions for the agent. So you can tell the agent to use knowledge, and this is already configured in the default prompts, but if you want to reinforce that a little bit, you can tell it to use specific knowledge in the knowledge base when being asked a very specific question, right? To invoke that tool call. And the main instructions should be in the system prompt, right? Because you don't want to have prompts that are too big, because that's too much. It becomes too much context for the agent. And too much context causes context bloat, makes the agent stupid, makes it slower, and the experience overall gets worse. That's why we have limits to each prompt box, so you cannot exceed that. And that is by design, to make sure these agents are fast-paced and they're actually smart, right? Whenever it needs to look up more information, it has the knowledge base to do that, okay? But it doesn't need to invoke it unless really needed, okay? Unless someone asks a very specific question. Cool. So test the answer, then test the boundary. Ask questions the knowledge base can answer, then ask something it cannot. The agent must answer accurately and avoid making things up. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. Mercenai dashboard, we're going to go in here. So you can actually test the knowledge base before you run any calls to make sure it actually works. And you do that in the knowledge section. I'm just loading up my dashboard right now. Click on knowledge. Once you have everything configured here, the files, whether it's Obsidian Vault or you've manually inputted it here, you can ask a question, test the answer, it's going to be output here, right? And then if you want to add FAQs, again, you go ahead and do that in the agent section and add FAQs here. And you can also edit an agent if you need to do that. So you can add more FAQs or configure the settings, the agent instructions, or whatever you want to do. All right. So I just wanted to show you that quickly. Right. The agent is useful when it can complete the next step. Right. So book, reschedule, cancel, escalate, and all that. For escalation, I want to show you that quickly as well. You go to campaigns, and if you need to add a human fallback, you just tick that in. You add the number it's going to be, forwarding the call to, and you add some instructions. So transfer when the caller asks for a human, is upset, has urgent issues, or needs something that the agent cannot safely handle. Okay? AI isn't perfect. It's not going to be able to handle everything. Humans are still superior in intelligence and specific use cases, but where AI shines is, again, speed to lead, follow-up, inbound volume, and outbound volume. Okay? But if you need to activate a human fallback, which you're probably going to need to do for the campaigns you're activating, go ahead and do that. Just, add the number here, add the instructions, and you're good to go. Okay? Very important. And tell the agent when to use each tool. Gather the required details before triggering the action. Okay? Repeat critical details so the caller can correct them. Use the correct tool one time with the correct values, and tell the caller what happened and what comes next, right? Very important. Test the failure cases too. No availability at the requested time, the calendar connection fails, the call disconnects before the action is complete, the caller changes details halfway through, and the caller asks for something outside of the scope, okay? So test things that can make the agent fail, just so you know what to prepare for and how to truly configure the agent in the best way possible. And if there's any specific issues that you run into, you can't solve them, you have me to reach out to so I can look into that. Because it may be an issue that is something you cannot configure and we have to look into. So we'll do that for you. But yeah, you have to test the failure cases too. It's very, very important. Otherwise, you're just going to be, having your head in sand and just hoping everything is going to work out, and you're not going to test for possible failures as well. So very important that you test for every potential failure. So in the next lesson, we're going to continue, with all the different lessons that you need to know and how to actually complete this and how to go into the sales side of things, outreach and all that. So make sure you've taken your notes. Make sure you've reached out to me if there's anything that you got stuck on before you move on to the next lesson. And once you're ready to move on, you just watch the next video and you keep going. All right, so do not build a prospect demo before the call is booked, okay? There is no reason for you to spend time building a demo and waste time on that if you haven't actually booked a call. Book the call first. Once they've committed to actually spending time on a call with you for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then you can spend some time booking or building that demo, right? So you don't need to worry about it in the beginning. Just do that when the call is booked, okay? And the way you do it, again, you research the company. So website, services, LinkedIn profile, locations, hours, and specific phone problem, okay? Then you create the knowledge very simply. It doesn't have to be a vast knowledge base because this is just a demo. Just something very basic that you can demo properly. Configure the conversation, right? So you're going to configure it in the agent section when you build it out, and then you're going to call yourself to test it out, and that's it. And the readiness checklist is the agent can call the prospect's number during the meeting. You can test that with your number. So if it works with your number, it's going to work with the prospect's number. And the agent can answer several real company questions. Okay, and under this one, you're also gonna have to activate your geo permissions, and I'm gonna add a link below this video highlighting that. If I forget the link, let me know. I shouldn't forget it because it's an important link. But you need to activate some geo permissions, so the number that you're demoing can call anyone, and then you need to do that for your clients too when you land them. So if they want to call any number, they can go ahead and do that, but they're probably not going to do that. It's going to be more relevant for you that are going to test with different kinds of prospects. But I'll add the link so you can verify that. Please tell me if I've forgotten. Please let me know, right? So the agent can answer several real company questions. You have a backup recording if live calling fails. Okay, so this is also very important. So if live calling fails, you can always go back here, come to calls, and play the recordings back. Right? You can do that. You can actually just share your screen and have the call be played back to them. Sometimes it allows to download. If it's browser calls, you can download. If it's real calls, real phone calls, you won't be able to download. So here you have a download option. You can send it to them, or to make it easy for yourself, you can just share your screen because most of these do not have a download option anyway, so don't worry about that. Just play the recording. They're going to be able to hear it. And honestly, if it stresses you out a lot to do a live demo, just play a recording. That's one way to do it. But the best way to do it is to run a live call and actually call their number. That's the best way. And the opening clearly represents the prospect's company. Important. The intended action works from beginning to end. Very, very important. And also one thing that I want to highlight before I move on, so this was the final slide anyways. When you come to the agents here, you have to understand when you configure the company name, if they have a complicated company name that isn't a real word, the agent is going to have a very hard time pronouncing the company name. Okay, so let's say, I don't know, I can't think of an example, but let's say the company's name is, let's say it's Condemn. It's probably going to mess up, pronouncing this, but this is actually a real word, so this is not the best example. But if you have a company name, I'm trying to think of something. Let's say this app. Let's say Mercenai. Let's say Mercenai, okay? It's probably not going to be able to pronounce this in the best way. Maybe it's going to say Mercenai or something like that. Okay? So the way you would do it for this specific company, this is just an example. I have a hard time thinking of a real example, but the way you would type it out is Mercenai. That way it's going to be able to pronounce it properly. So think about that when you actually use the company name. You're going to test it before, of course, before you launch any real campaigns, but make sure it pronounces it correctly so it doesn't mess up the pronunciation of the company name, because that's gonna mess up real phone calls. Okay, that's a big deal. So yeah, just make sure you write that out in a way that is that the agent can pronounce it. But at the same time, this is a little bit tricky because you do want to make sure that the real company name is configured here. So whatever company name you're going to have, because that's going to be added to the Google Calendar booking. So if you if you cannot pronounce the actual company name, so try first with the real company name. If it doesn't pronounce it correctly, enforce it in the agent instructions to make sure that it pronounces it in the right way. All right? Because now that I think about it, you probably don't want to have the pronunciation here, because that's going to be added to the Google Calendar booking. So yeah, if you're having problems with this, please do let me know. But test it out first before you try anything else. But that's what you should do. So yeah, keep taking your notes. Get back to me if there's anything you're stuck on, and then you can move on to the next video. Okay, so pretty much halfway into the entire course. Obviously, I'm going to be adding more and more lessons as I go, but this is going to be the basis of everything, just going through all these lessons. So the next step is generating leads and actually booking calls, okay, from end to end, and I'm going to show you all the steps. So the first thing you want to do is dial in your profile. Your profile should answer one question immediately. What expensive phone problem do you help this type of business to solve? Okay, you can say something like helping local businesses ramp up their follow-ups and make sure they never miss a follow-up, or something like that, or helping local businesses never miss a single call again, helping local businesses, or saying like something like helping healthcare clinics or law practices something like that. Never miss a call again, or reach new leads within 30 seconds. Never miss a warm lead. You get it. You get the point. Obviously, make sure the wording is correct. Make sure it looks good. But something like that just tells your ICP what you do for them and what phone problem you actually solve. Okay. First of all, what problem you solve, and then what specific phone problem you solve. But if you don't want to niche down on the specific phone problem, and you want to keep it, you want to solve all kinds of problems when it comes to the phone for these kinds of businesses, you can say, let's take an example again, helping law firms never miss a single call, reach new leads in 30 seconds, and never miss a follow-up again. Something like that, right? By installing AI voice agents. The method can be important to add just so they understand how you'll do it. But the most important thing is who you're going to help and how you're going to help them. So like what the actual outcome is. That's the most important thing. So who you're going to help, the outcome you're going to provide for them, and how it's done. That's better said, okay? So who is the niche? The outcome is what you're actually going to solve. Never missing calls, never missing follow-ups, never missing any warm leads. That's the outcome. And that's also, in it, you're also solving the pain point. And then lastly, how you're going to do it. What the method is of solving that problem, which is going to be AI voice agents, okay? So I'm going to show you a little bit about how I structure my own profile. So I'll show you quickly what my LinkedIn looks like. I think LinkedIn is the best for B2B, right? You'll also be able to send emails. And I'm going to show you how you can get the emails and LinkedIn URLs for leads, and how you can reach out to them on both LinkedIn and email. But this is a good profile, okay? So you're going to have your own business banner here that highlights your brand and what it is that you do. Right now, I'm only keeping the logo here and, my brand colors, I guess, because I'm already explaining what I'm doing here. But if you want to highlight it in the banner as well, you can do that. Just make sure it doesn't become repetitive, where you're repeating yourself in the banner and in the bio, right? In the bio, I'm already saying that I'm a founder. I create cutting AI voice agents for AI agencies to white label, which is you guys, and businesses to never miss a single call, warm lead, or follow-up again, okay? So here you can specify your niche more if you want to. You can say healthcare clinics to never miss a single call, warm lead, or follow-up, or something like that. Or if you want to focus only on inbound, you say never miss a call. If you want to focus only on speed to lead, you say this, or only on follow-ups, you say this. Or if you want to help businesses scale their cold calling, you say that. But I keep it general. I focus on the main three problems, which is never missing a call, warm lead, and follow-up for businesses as a whole that depend on calls, okay? Then a little CTA at the end of it. DM something for a demo, okay? So they need to know what the next step is. What should they do to actually potentially start working with you or learn more, right? So first, I add a little bit of authority. I'm a founder at the company. This part is not the most, necessary, I would say, but it can still add a little bit of authority that you're a founder, okay? It's not the biggest deal, but it can help a little bit. But this is the most important, okay? You talking about what you do. What is your offer, okay? I'm offering AI voice agents so this is what I'm doing. This is the how. AI voice agents. This is the actual method of solving the problem, okay? And who am I doing it for? AI agencies and businesses as a whole. And what is the outcome and solved pain point? It's to never miss a call. It's never to miss a warm lead, and it's to never miss a follow-up. And then I have a CTA that tells them what the next step is, okay? So that's the first thing you want to dial in. The second thing is you want to have an about section. So what I do here on my about section, I create a little bit of curiosity where I say, founders, read this before scrolling further, with a little emoji pointing down. Then that will invoke a little bit of curiosity to get them to click on more and want to read further. And then if you want, you can pause here and just, paste that into, what you can do is you can take a screenshot, you can ask GPT or Claude or whatever to type this out for you, and you can use the same template as you want, if you want. I can't even speak today. What the fuck is wrong with me? But basically, take this entire template if you want, use the same template, and you're gonna have a CTA at the end the same way as you have in your bio, okay? Also, you should have your booking link as an alternative. So DM me XYZ or book here, okay? So they have two choices. They can DM for information or they can book directly, okay? Then services, not really the most important. I don't really care about this. I just have some skills available here, like SaaS, telecommunications, business consulting, and marketing consulting. I don't really care about anything else, so I wouldn't worry too much about this. The featured section, this is very good. So what I'm doing here is I have 2 free lead magnets. So both of these add people to my newsletter, okay? So that's something that I can use to nurture people in the future. This is something you're gonna get access to. So you can actually demo this on the calls. So essentially, the first lead magnet is the free revenue calculator. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fill out my email and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Let me see. Yeah, it's loading a little bit. By the way, my internet has been awful lately. I'm not sure what that's about. I think I'm having an error with my, let's see if this one works or if I'm having the same error there, then I can debug that later. But basically you're gonna get access to the ROI calculator. So this seems to be working, but not the other one, which is strange. But anyways, you're gonna get access to this one. I'm gonna make sure it works for you. If it doesn't work, please let me know. Basically, this is what you're gonna demo on the call. You're gonna show them what it looks like. I'll show you an example on my website. I have it on the website too, but this is not the one that you're gonna use. You're gonna wanna use one that doesn't reveal what tool you're using to sell to your clients. But essentially, you're gonna be able to like calculate on the call with them how much money they're losing, right? So if they have 10 missed calls per month, say at a 10% booking rate or close rate in this case, and the average job value of $100, they're going to be missing $100 per month in lost revenue. This is obviously very, very low numbers. The average booked job for most businesses is not going to be $100. It's probably going to be somewhere in the hundreds or maybe even a couple thousand, maybe 1,000 plus, right? But say 700, right? And they close 20% of all their deals and they miss 20 calls. That's how much money they're losing on a monthly basis by not having AI voice agents. So that's something you're going to be able to show them. Very, very important and very useful for you. Okay, so add a lead magnet. It can be this kind of lead magnet where you give them a free revenue calculator because you're going to be selling AI voice agents. So use something like this. Or if you have something else in mind, go ahead and do that. And then add them to your newsletter so you can actually nurture those leads. And if you don't know exactly how to do that, just ask Codex or ask Claude Code. It's going to help you with that process of how to build a newsletter. And then you can just make sure to link that accordingly, okay? So have a lead magnet and then have a featured link to your website or to your Calendly page. Ideally your website. So when they click on it, they should come straight to your website and know exactly what you're doing so they can learn more. So one to your website and one lead magnet that nurtures the lead, that adds them to a newsletter, and that should be it. And then you should be posting content that is relevant to your target audience, the content that is relevant to the problems you're solving. So I talk about missed calls, I talk about AI voice agents, AI voice tech. This is what I talk about: latency, I talk about VAD, I talk about missed calls, opportunities, what it's costing them on a monthly basis. And lastly, I just created a company page that allows me to, that allows people to come to my company page, and I have a little CTA here that leads them to the website as well. This is not necessary, but having a company page where you say that you're a founder of that page can add a little bit of authority. So that's pretty much all you need for the LinkedIn profile. And yeah, so that's essentially what you should think about when you create a LinkedIn profile. And if we continue, the minimum credible profile should have a clear photo and real identity, as I showed you. An about section explaining the outcome in plain language, as I showed you as well. No fake case studies, fake team, or fake claims. Don't lie to people. Don't be a fake guru, okay? Don't be one of those people. Be honest. It's always best being honest. A headline tied to the problem and market, as I showed you as well in the bio. A feature demo, ROI calculator, or short explanation. I think the ROI calculator is a great lead magnet. They can see their numbers immediately, okay? And then a simple headline template. I help market, recover missed calls, and follow up with leads using AI voice agents. Exactly what I explained to you, okay? So yeah, in the next lesson, we'll go more over lead scraping and how to actually find the leads you can reach out to in the best way, so you can save a bunch of time without having to manually prospect. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions about this lesson at all, if there's anything that doesn't make any sense. If the ROI calculator doesn't seem to be working still, I'm going to fix it right now. But if it seems to be broken, please reach out to me so I can fix it. But it should be operational right now if you're watching the video. But yeah, once you're done with the notes and you make sure that you're up to speed on everything, move over to the next video. All right, let's continue. So who belongs on the list? The business fits the phone-dependent market you selected. You don't want to scrape any niche. You have to make sure that these leads that you're scraping actually need your services. Okay? They actually are dependent on phone calls. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting your time. You're going to be wasting your money scraping the leads, and then you're going to be wasting your wasting your time reaching out to them. And time is money, so you'll be wasting money on that as well. Don't do that. Make sure you select a niche that actually are dependent on phone calls, and that's how you're going to do it. And the company appears active and able to handle more business. I mean, this part doesn't really matter that much, so don't overthink it too much. Most of the businesses you're going to be able to scrape are going to be active, and yeah, you can filter out revenue as well. What you don't want is a broke business, a business barely making any money with like 1 or 2 employees. You want to make sure they actually have a few employees, I don't know, maybe a minimum of 5. That's something you can filter out. We'll check out Apify and see if we can find that filter. And then you can personalize the first message honestly. But that's something that's going to come naturally when you look through their LinkedIn profile. You're going to be able to actually create a personalization, based on what you see. The person can influence or approve the decision, meaning a decision maker. You want to scrape CEOs, owners, founders, co-founder, co-owner, stuff like that. Or someone who is, ideally you want to have the decision makers, but if you can't find the decision maker, if you only have access to like a manager, they can influence the decision as well. So that's not the worst situation. And you have a real reason to believe one of the 4 problems may exist. Okay? But again, if you choose one of the niches that I told you, this is guaranteed going to be the case. They're at least going to have one of the 4 problems. At least. Okay? And LinkedIn does not publish a guaranteed safe daily number. From what I've been able to find online, about 25 connection requests is the upper limit. 25 to 30, I would say, but keep it at 25 if you're going to do your connection requests. And roughly 30 to 40 manual DMs to accepted connections. That's a good number. This is a good baseline. But I would honestly focus more on quality rather than just sending a bunch of volume. If you can do 30 to 40 high quality DMs that are personalized and you haven't just copy pasted a template, then it's gonna do you very well. But if you're just gonna copy paste into every single lead and just change their name, you probably shouldn't be doing that at all. But yeah, make sure your DMs are personalized, and yeah, you come off as someone who's done a little bit of research at least. So quality matters more than the quantity. 25 requests, 30 to 40 manual DMs once they've accepted. And the way you check accepted connections If I come to LinkedIn here, I will show you quickly. So you come to your connections here. And the nice part about LinkedIn, you can sort by recently added, which is great. So you're going to be able to see your newest accepted connection request here. So if you know the latest lead you reached out to was, say, this guy, you can write it down in your notes so you remember where you are. And then when you continue the next day, you just continue from Cameron and up, okay? So sort by recently added and actually check the list here. That's how you keep track of everything. And while we're at it, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to scrape the actual leads and then how to verify them, okay? So first thing you wanna do, you wanna come to apify.com. So, just search for apify.com. You're gonna log in via Google, and then you're gonna search for this actor here, LinkedIn profile search scraper, no cookies, okay? So it's gonna be able to find the URLs and emails. What you wanna do, you wanna click on this one, do full plus email search. You get $5 for free, so you don't have to pay anything for the first batch. That's gonna last you, quite some time. So you're gonna get a good number of leads, and then you can, add the number of profiles to scrape, how many leads that you want. Maybe you want to start with 50 or something. You can start with a small number; it's not that big of a deal. Search query, you can see what every single thing means here. So you want to add things like, the decision maker title, like founder, marketing manager, stuff like that. And then you have locations filter, company filters. You can explore these yourselves. You don't need to use every single one of them, but as soon as you're done, you can save and start, and you're gonna get the actual spreadsheet with all the leads that you can just download. Now, why I recommend you take their emails as well is you might want to send emails. You might want to reach out via emails as well. But before you can actually send the emails to not destroy your domain health, you want to reach out to or use, say, you want to use Million Verifier here, and go ahead and create an account and log in. That's going to allow you to actually verify your leads, right? So that's very, very important, because if you don't verify your leads, you might reach out to invalid emails, and that's going to bounce the emails back to your server and hurt your domain health. So if you're going to be sending those emails, make sure you go ahead and do that, okay? Very, very important. So that's basically it for Apify. That's how you scrape the leads. Then you go ahead and verify them, and then you should be good to go, okay? So your first CRM can just be a simple spreadsheet, like your Google spreadsheet, your Google Sheets, basically, where you keep all the leads in the same place, and you just sort everything out there and make sure you stay organized. So you don't need to keep anything, you don't need to create anything complicated, like having a go high level or close or anything like that. Just keep it very simple, okay? It doesn't matter in the beginning. Just keep a simple spreadsheet, right? And the columns you actually need: name, role, company, market, and LinkedIn profile link, the problem discovered, and the numbers they shared, the booked call, decision makers, proposal, outcome, and notes, connection sent, accepted, first message date, current stage, and the exact next action date for the spreadsheet, okay? You don't have to use everything here. Use what you feel is the best for you to stay organized. But obviously the most important thing is going to be their name, company, link to URL, and stuff like that. And you're already going to have this in the spreadsheet, okay? So the leads you've scraped, right? And this doesn't really matter. It's not applicable to us. And so the first message is not the pitch. The first message has one job. You want to start a normal conversation that is easy to answer. You just want to keep it non-salesy in the beginning, just to start a little bit of a conversation. So you can say something like, hey, name, it looks like company is doing some pretty cool things. You're running that solo with a lean team or a bigger team, right? Just something that starts a conversation. You don't need to ask anything related to your offer yet, or, try to dig up pain points. You just need to get a response so you can start a conversation, okay? So message 2, you can say something like, makes sense, How are you currently getting most of your clients right now? Is it mainly calls, email, DMs, or something else? Okay? Let their answer take you toward the phone problem. Do not force it if the calls are not important. If they don't seem like someone who's qualified, just leave them and move on to the next lead. Okay? Message 3, quantify the phone problem. Got it. On average, how many calls or warm follow-ups do you think are being missed in a month? And roughly, what is the new deal worth? So with this, you're going to know that, okay, I know how many calls they're missing per month or leads, and I know the average deal size. And then once they answer, you're going to be able to use their numbers with the ROI calculator to tell them how much they're losing, okay? So A, missed opportunities, calls or follow-ups missed per month. Estimated conversion, they share that they may have become a client. So what is the estimated conversion there? What is the average deal value? What one deal is worth? And then you just combine everything together using the ROI calculator, and you get the equation and you get the calculation, and you're going to see exactly how much money they're losing. Okay. And then the 50-minute call CTA. Based on those numbers, it looks like you could be missing about X per month through X problem, okay? I can show you exactly how it would help recover that over a quick 50-minute call. Is that something you would be open to, okay? Once they hear how much money they're losing, they're gonna wanna get on a call with you. Like, they're gonna see that this is a problem, and 50 minutes is the sweet spot, okay? You don't wanna say 30 minutes. That's a big commitment on their end. No one's gonna wanna get on a 30-minute call with a stranger, so keep it at 50 minutes. Right? And then once you're done with all of that, you've scraped the leads, you've gone through this entire process, you've saved all these templates and everything. After that, we're going to go into how to actually sell and close the clients, how to run a focused sales call with the diagnosis and live demo, do the heavy lifting. So make sure you complete all the prior steps first before you move on. And then I'll see you on the next one. All right, so the recording software I'm using is extremely annoying, because I'm using OBS and it's complete garbage. So I don't recommend you use that. It freezes in the middle of the fucking course when I'm in a slide. So I record like 20-minute videos and then I come back and it's like it got stuck in one frame. Fucking piece of garbage. So from now on, every video is going to be a little bit shorter so it doesn't freeze and I don't end up wasting like 20 minutes of my time. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you how to sell and close clients right now. Pre-call preparation, review your conversation beforehand so you have context. Research the company and build the tailored demo agent, right? Prepare the agreement with scope, price, guarantee, terms, and all that. Okay, you need to prepare this because you can actually close them on the call. Confirm who can approve the decision and invite all decision makers, because you don't want to waste your time speaking to someone who can't approve the decision on their own. So you need to make sure everyone is available and on the call if this is needed. Test the agent, phone call, and booking action before the meeting to make sure nothing goes wrong. The prompt actually is solid and all that, okay? Qualify decision authority before the meeting, just so I make sure the right people are there. Are you the only person who would approve of something like this, or should we invite someone else? If there is a partner, ask to include them on the first call. Very important so you don't waste your time. Have a backup for every live dependency, okay? So the best thing is, you know what? I want to make sure the recording is still on. Okay, cool. The best thing is having a live demo, like just running a live demo. But honestly, if that freaks you out and scares you a little bit, just record a call beforehand with their specific business. If they can hear that and they can hear the agent representing their business, it's still the same thing. And you just download it, you share it with them, and that's it, okay? Live is the best, but if you can't do a live, just do it over a recording, all right? So that's one way you can do it if it does freak you out, okay? So I'm going to cap the video here because I don't want to run into any issues, and then I'll continue with this one. So you can just keep watching. You can just switch to the next video and continue watching this section. All right, we'll continue. So you open by recapping what they already told you. When we spoke over DMs, you mentioned X problem around X volume times per month, and roughly X deal value per client. Is that still accurate? This helps you loop back into the conversation, okay? And make sure that you speak about something that's accurate, and they're obviously going to say yes, otherwise they wouldn't be on the call. Get confirmation before you build the rest of the call on those numbers, okay? So make sure you have the right numbers and the right context. The questions that make the problem real, okay? So you can ask them what happens right now. Tell them to walk you through what the team does when this occurs, so they know like what they're lacking and what they're not doing with the problems and all that. This is very, very important, what they're actually missing out. What gets lost? How is this affecting revenue, staff time, or customer experience? This makes the problem even more real. Why now? This adds urgency. What made this worth solving at this point? They're going to want to do it right now when they hear this and they see the numbers. What would change? Like, how would the business improve if this was handled properly? Now they're going to tell you the outcome. They're going to sell themselves, okay? By the way, excuse me if I'm doing that all the time. I really don't want it to freeze because I've wasted so much time recording videos that just freeze in one frame. I don't know why OBS does this. It's really annoying, but we're going to make it work. Don't rush into the demo. The discovery is when the sale is really made, okay? Like, the way I see it is like, the discovery is when you push them to the edge, and the demo is just when you push them over the edge. So most of the work is done up until them being standing on the edge, and the demo just pushes them over the edge, okay? So the demo is powerful, but the discovery, when you make the problem real and you ask the right questions, that's even more powerful, right? So that's what you need to focus on the most. But then the demo, actually showing them how it works, that's going to solidify everything. That's like the final nail in the coffin. Then you transition into the demo. I actually built a version of the agent around the information I could find about your company. It will not be perfect because you know your business better than I do, but I can have it call you right now, or I can send over a recording I have with that specific agent so you can experience what this will look like. Set honest expectations and let the experience sell the capability. Still going to check. Cool. We're still good. So the live demo flow, confirm the scenario, tell them what type of caller to pretend to be, a prospect for their own business. Place the call their phone while everyone stays on the meeting, or play the recording. Let them experience it. Do not talk while the agent is doing the work or while the recording is playing. Just be quiet. Then debrief. What stood out and where do they see it fitting? Very important, all right? So this is what you ask after the demo. Based on what you just experienced, where do you see this having the biggest impact in your current process? This is where they explain the value back to you and basically sell it to themselves before you present the price. And then for pricing, I will do 3 to 5K. Keep it at 3K in the beginning. Once you add a little bit of social proof, you can push it to 5K or in between. And then when you have a lot of social proof, you can even push those numbers above. But for you rookies, stay within this range, right? And 500 to 1K in monthly management, where you monitor, improve, and maintain it after the first 30 days. So this should be exactly 30 days after this payment. Do not be taken advantage of by these clients. They're gonna walk all over you if you let them. Set right expectations. Do not make yourself look like someone who isn't valuable, where your services aren't valuable, okay? You need to raise your own status and show that you're worthy of these numbers, okay? So they need to respect you by paying you what you're worth for the problem you're solving, okay? A clean way to say the price. What this would look like is a price upfront installation to build and launch the full system. After the first 30 days, management is monthly price per month, so we can keep monitoring and improving it. Then stop talking. Let the prospect respond, right? Because if you keep talking after this, you'll just sound desperate. You'll start over-explaining yourself. And yeah, it got stuck at this one as well. So let me see if, yeah. So basically, fucking cunt. Why did this happen? Now a clean way to say the price. 1 second, there we go, it's still working. What this will look like is a price upfront installation to build and launch the full system. After the first 30 days, management is monthly price per month, so we can keep monitoring and improving it. Then stop talking and let the prospect respond. If you keep over-explaining yourself, you're gonna look like a dumbass and you're gonna look desperate. Don't do that, all right? Still gotta make sure it looks good, cool. Sorry I keep doing that, guys. I cannot deal with this software that I'm using. It freezes the frame, so I just gotta make sure everything is working so I can finish this course. And then the agreement should already be ready. Exact deliverables and exclusions. payment timing and when work begins after they've made the first payment, ownership, access, cancellation, and support terms, everything, right? Make sure everything is included in the in the contract, installation fee and monthly management fee, and 30-day functionality guarantee and client stipulations. So no result guarantee, keep it a functionality guarantee because that's outside of your control. And then make sure they have some stipulations, which is responding to you within 24, 48 hours or something like that, okay? Just so that they don't waste your time and make the deadline harder for you to keep, okay? And if they say something like it's too expensive, you just say, I understand. Let's compare it to a problem we just measured. Which is more expensive for the business? Continuing to miss estimated amount or installing a system designed to recover more of those opportunities? Use their estimates. Do not present it as guaranteed recovered revenue, but it is estimated, okay? Based on the calculation. So this is obviously much more expensive than the latter. There's no such thing as too expensive. If I sold you a Ferrari for 20K, it would be dirt cheap. If I sold you a cup for 20K, it would be too expensive, obviously. But the problem that's being solved is, this is fucking cheap. They're getting this for a steal. Okay, so it's not expensive. If they're dumb and if they're not smart enough to understand that it's more expensive to let this problem continue going on, then you can't help them. Okay, let them be, and let them keep losing money, right? And one thing you can say too, that's really going to help push this home. The calculator only calculates the initial deal size. So when you do the close rate times average deal value and all that, the deal size is the initial payment from their clients. It doesn't take into account the lifetime value of that client. If that client stays with them for 2, 3, 4 years and they pay them a total of 200 grand, that's how much money they're losing by missing a single call. That's something you can say in your calls as well, right? It's very, very important. That's really going to drive the point home. They say, I need to speak to my partner. That makes sense. Let's book a second short call. Let me just check that everything is good with both of you so I can answer the same questions directly and nobody has to relay the conversation secondhand. This should already be handled before the call, where you identify and invite every decision maker before the first call. But if you miss this for some reason or they lie to you, say this so you can actually have all of them on the call with you on the second call, okay? Don't let them speak to their partner alone because they're probably not going to follow through with it. Just book a call with everyone while you're still there, okay? Very important. The close and handoff sequence. Aim for the first call close. Everything should already be ready, the payment link, agreement, and all that. If they say no and they can't do it, go for a small deposit just to lock their spot in because honestly, you're not going to be able to help 20 people at the same time or more. So you're going to have limited spots. You're going to be able to do 5 to 10 clients maximum on your own. So tell them, I can't help unlimited people. So we can lock in your spot so I can actually give you this help and save you the money that you would otherwise lose by continuing to have this problem. So tell them we can lock it in for $100 and then book a second call. Then a second decision call with the rest of the decision makers, as I just explained. Then a separate onboarding call, okay? A separate onboarding call where you go over login details, client information, documents around the company, API keys, setting up all the integrations, and all that sort of stuff. So you do that separately on a new call, right? So I hope we didn't have any issues with the recording. I think it looks very good. The next video, we're going to go into fulfillment, retaining and scaling your business and your AI voice agent agency. So sorry for the constant back and forth. I have to do it. You should never use OBS, by the way. I don't know if any other alternatives. I'm not going to pay for Loom. Fuck Loom. So I'm using OBS. It's completely free, but it's pretty shit. So, it doesn't do the best job. But it is what it is. We'll make it work. So yeah, make sure you have your notes written and your questions asked to me before you continue, because we're reaching the end of this course. We don't have a lot of slides left. So we're going to go into how to actually fulfill, retain, and scale these clients. So when you're ready to move on, watch the next video and I'll see you there. All right, so let's go into chapter 6, fulfillment, retaining, and scaling. So nothing starts until the commercial handoff is clean. Okay. Agreement signed. Both sides accept the scope and terms. Gotta keep checking. Sorry, guys. Installation paid. Workspace created. So project tracker, contacts, communication, everything is ready. Okay. And then onboarding booked. The right client members need to attend, and you need to go over this together. So you just make sure that everything is set before you start the project. Okay. So what to collect on the onboarding call? Very simple. You collect the final use case, desired outcome, and success checks, the call flows, qualification rules, escalation rules, and so on for the agent. Test contacts, approvers, launch owner, and weekly review time. So when you can sit together every single week and just review everything. Company information, services, policies, frequently asked questions so you can configure the agent. And then Twilio and Google authorization completed by the client. I went over this in a previous lesson so you know exactly how to set everything up for them. But that's what you need to collect on the onboarding call. Just make sure you have context to build the agent, the knowledge base and all that. And yeah, just make sure you know exactly what you're doing. So OBS froze at this stage, so I'm gonna have to end this video so you can just continue with the next one. All right, so end onboarding with owners and dates. So make sure that you obviously give them the deadlines and everything like that. So they need to respond within 48 to 72 hours per thing that you actually require, so you can actually deliver within those 30 days. And they need to have a person responsible for responding to questions that you have. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to deliver the project. This is very important. So if you're going to share passwords in the chat, make sure they delete the API keys and the secrets from their end as quickly as humanly possible. Every single chat service allows you to delete, so you can do that. Or if you have a secure, platform where you can share keys and secrets and all that without, leaking it, you can go ahead and do that. I think 1Password is something you can look up online. I've never used it, but I've heard it's very, very good. So that's something you can do. But yeah, make sure that if you share secrets in chats, API keys, secret tokens, whatever, delete them afterwards. Delete them right away from the chat. Don't delete the actual token because you're going to be using it, but delete it from the chat so it's not leaked anywhere. Very, very important that you go ahead and do that for your client's sake, of course. So the access record, account owner and billing owner, that's going to be on the client, by the way. So they're going to be the billing owner of Twilio and obviously Google Calendar, but that's not going to charge them anything. Where secrets are stored securely, this is going to be in the respective accounts that you use. But if you're going to be exchanging secrets, as I said, make sure that you delete them from the chat right away. Who to contact if an integration fails, that's probably going to be, the main person you're working with, with the company that you're working with, the main contact person within your clientele. What access was granted and for what purpose. So exactly like what you're going to have access to and what the purpose of these tools are, like Google Calendar and Twilio. Very simple. When access should be reviewed or revoked. This is obviously like when you stop working together, if it gets to that point, then you should be talking about this. But they can just change their logins and it's not really that big of a deal. Okay. And week one is you set everything up. I want to make sure that it's still cool. You set everything up, the accounts, Twilio, Google, all that, the knowledge base, the actual agent, and the internal testing. We got to make sure everything is good. Week two, launch under control, client acceptance test, the client test the agreed scenarios, final corrections, just fix blocking issues before traffic reaches it. Limited launch, start with a controlled number of calls so you don't go all in on volume, so you can actually review. Then you monitor closely to make sure that everything is running smoothly. Still got to check, guys, sorry. Weeks 3 and 4, evaluate and improve. Review what happened in week 2. Prioritize, fix the issues that affect the promised job first. Retest, Run the exact failed scenario again after each change, then confirm. Get client acceptance against the written scope. Okay, cool. That's it. Fully functional means the intended job works. Just gotta make sure we're still working. Cool. Calls connect reliably in the intended direction. Booking, rescheduling, cancellation, escalation work, when all that works, the client has tested and accepted the agreed scenarios. And when, like, honestly, you're going to be doing most of the testing anyways. Like, they're not going to log into the account because it's your account. Okay? They're just going to monitor. When I say testing from the client side, they're going to monitor everything on a dashboard or whatever information you give them, right? So you're going to be doing the testing. The agent follows the approved conversation and represents the company accurately. Or if they want to test it, you can have it call them, right? You could just have the agent call them and they can test it like that if they want to do that. But that's going to cost them money, of course, if they want to deal with that money. And new lead response follow-up, inbound, outbound behavior matches the signed scope, right? So that's what functional means, okay? A launch is not one successful phone call. You need repeatable tests, real call monitoring, and written acceptance against the exact scope. So a lot of calls can look a little bit different, but so you need to be testing consistently. And one successful call doesn't mean that everything is working, so keep that in mind. Cool. So this is where we're ending the video because OBS froze here. So it's becoming like it tells me when I need to end the video by now because it's a shitty software, so I just gotta deal with it. But just pause this video, or obviously it's ending right now, and then just move on to the next video. All right, so now you just document what was launched, how it works, who owns each account, how to request changes, and what the monthly management includes. Complete the launch checklist and schedule first monthly review just to make sure everything is set, right? And then you go into managing and retaining clients. Keep the Mercenai system valuable, prove what it is doing, and give the client a reason to stay. Obviously, if they have a working system, they're going to want to stay with you. And retention starts with a system that keeps doing the job. If the agent reliably protects calls, follows up, and creates useful outcomes, the value is difficult to ignore. They're not going to stop working with you as long as you keep this up and you keep making sure that this works. All right? What monthly management actually includes: review calls, outcomes, failed actions, escalation patterns, test calendar, phone, other integrations. Keep a clear record of what changed and why. Improve prompt knowledge routing when the evidence supports a change. And maintain the approved call rules and opt-out handling, okay? Outbound calling requires a compliance process. Confirm the client has a lawful basis and required consent for the campaign, okay? So they know their compliance way better than you do. Make sure they're actually compliant with their scripts and how you configure the prompting and all that, because that's going to be very, very important so they don't run into any issues, or you don't run into any issues actually launching these services. But they're going to be more liable for any issues that happen. Probably, the only liable party if something does happen, because they're responsible for the campaigns and everything. You're going to have an agreement for that as well, okay? So everything's going to be in the agreement that they are actually, responsible for their compliance, basically, okay? Make sure you include that in the agreement. Use accurate caller identity and required disclosures. Get qualified legal guidance before launching consumer telemarketing at scale, okay? Honor opt-outs and maintain the required do not call records, okay? So you do not call people who have opted out and told you that they're not interested. This is automatically going to be configured with the agent. So the agent is not going to keep calling people who are not interested, right? So, and they're already going to be marked called anyways. So and their status is going to be changed depending on their status, right? Check federal, state, and local rules for every market being called. This is what they're going to know most of the time. So the client that you work with already knows compliance. They already know their compliance to 100%. So you can ask them for everything that they have regarding compliance. So you make sure you never break any rules or any laws or any regulations. Very important. So the monthly proof review: volume, calls handled, leads contact or follow-ups completed, outcomes in appointments transferred, resolved questions and completed actions. Quality: failures, escalations, opt-outs, and repeated conversation issues. And next changes, what needs to be improved after the first month. Okay, cool. So, yep, still working. We can keep going. Report facts separately from estimates. A booked appointment is a fact. Estimated revenue is still an estimate until the client's sales data confirms what closed. And make sure you actually track their results, because you can use that as case studies for new clients. So you want to make sure you save your clients' social proof and results. Record case studies with them. That's going to help you land more clients. And simply rinse and repeat this entire process. Run one focused client review every month. Show what happened, what you learned, what you changed, and what you recommend next. Keeping them involved in the process shows them that you actually know what you're doing. You actually care about the results, and they're going to be more than likely to continue working with you. If you never have any weekly check-ins, monthly check-ins, they're just going to stop caring about the work that you do. Even if you provide a lot of value, they're probably going to stay if you provide value, but you're going to be more likely to retain them if you build a relationship with them, right? Because otherwise they can just replace you with someone else that can do the same thing. So schedule the recurring review during onboarding, not after the client goes quiet. Super important. So yeah, we'll pause it here and continue when you're ready with Upsell and Scale. We're reaching the end. It's probably going to be the final video after this. And then we'll record and add some additional videos after this. So these are not going to be the only lessons. I'm going to have more practical lessons after this series, but this is just to give you an overview from beginning to end on how you do everything with Mercenai and just the entire process of sales, lead generation, and all that. So yeah, probably the final video after this, and then new videos are going to be added after this, practical videos. So continue when you're ready, and let me know if you have any questions. So now we're getting into upselling and scaling. This part is very interesting because you can make way more money outside of this, and I'm going to show you how. So you can expand by simply upselling more internal services to them, like adding more minutes as they scale. They're probably going to need more minutes. They're probably going to need more usage. You can add more usage and charge them more. And then you can set up different things for them. Like if you want to set up messaging services for them, don't include this in the original agreement. You can add this as a separate part and then charge them for that as well. So yeah, you can just upsell them on that in that regard, where you add messaging, you add more usage, more minutes, and all that. And yeah, that's how you do it. So I'm gonna end this video right here, so you can just continue to the next one because I'm having issues with my recorder. But that's a good way of doing it. That's a really good way of doing it because it allows you to just add more minutes to their current operations, and they're gonna pay you more for that, obviously. If you want to add messaging service, you can install that for $500 additional. So yeah, be smart with everything. Start using existing clients to milk out more cash, and yeah, that's how you should do it. So then you move on. So you choose a phone dependent market, learn one market deeply enough to sound specific, start conversations, diagnose the phone problem, and quantify it honestly. This is basically the rinse and repeat process for new clients. Demo and close, let a tailored live experience prove the solution. Fulfill and document, launch, create proof, and improve the process. Repeat what works, okay? This is the rinse and repeat process of actually scaling and taking your business to the next level. Still working, right? Cool. Scale the bottleneck, not your stress. Increase quality activity, more targeted leads, better conversations, stronger follow-up, and more calls if sales is low. If delivery is full, systemize fulfillment, so templates, checklists, Q&A, support boundaries, trained help before more clients. Or you can just hire people, right? Hire people, that makes your life a little bit easier as well. So I would highly recommend that, okay? And then once you get to this point, the path to 10, 20, 30K months is math plus delivery. So 10K is a few installations or a mix of installations and retained monthly clients. 20K repeatable acquisition, a predictable pipeline and close process you can measure. And 30K delivery capacity. enough systems and support to fulfill without quality collapsing. Okay? Very, very important. So your next move is not another lesson. Choose the next action that creates evidence. Build a demo, finish the profile, add the first 100 prospects, or start the first conversation. Just follow the lessons that I've given you and do everything you need to do. Do the next action today and bring the result into the community if you have any questions. And of course, reach out to me privately as well. And a final thing that I want to talk about a little bit briefly, but I'm going to expand on this in later lessons, how you can upsell into other custom AI automations that aren't only limited to voice agents, but when you have a client, they're going to be far more likely to have a conversation with you and want to keep talking to you. So you can keep upselling them on other things, other systems, whether it's a CRM automation or a dashboard or a SaaS or a website or a chatbot or an embedded agent on their website, whatever it is, you can keep selling them stuff. So don't be afraid to do that because they're already a client. They probably have other problems outside of manual calls. So you can just keep pushing things for them. But that's ending basically this series right now. We're going to be adding and improving this entire course way more. This is just the basics, just going over everything. Based on your feedback, I'm going to be able to improve this course as a whole and make it better and better. This is not the final course. We're going to improve it as we go. It was a little bit messy in some parts with the recording acting up, but it is what it is. I hope you got the point of everything regardless, and it gave you a lot of value. Again, if you have feedback, let me know. If there's something that wasn't unclear, I can re-record a video or add new videos, because this is not the final product. We're gonna add more, material as we go to make sure you get the best possible coaching from this program. So yeah, now you get to work. You implement exactly everything that I've taught you. You set everything up with Mercenai. You set up the entire process and make sure you take this seriously. Very, very important. And yeah, that should be it. Let me know if you have any questions. And it's time to get to work. No more watching videos. It's time to actually start making money. So get out there, start killing it, and start being active in the community so we can actually help you out. And let's start killing it together. Cheers.